Because right now, if you come to these sorts of conferences and you listen to all the conversation about protecting the ecosystem, it's all very left brain, it's all very rational, it's all very science-based, and that's good. But what's missing is this deep reverence for life on Earth and this recognition that we're a part of the ecosystem that we are speaking about in these abstract terms. And that's what Vita religion and Lifewise philosophy is trying to do. It's trying to connect people spiritually to the living planet.
Hello and welcome to another Climate Emergency Forum. We're here at COP28 in Dubai, and I'd like to welcome Guy Lane of Vita Sapien back to the channel. How are you, Guy?
I'm well, very well indeed. Yeah.
So Guy Lane is an environmental scientist, author, and entrepreneur. He conceived in 2016 the idea of a non-theistic spiritual philosophy that was grounded in the science needs of the age, and began to write down the ideas and build a team to advance the cause. Guy is Vita founder, chairman of Vita Planeta Limited, the corporate vehicle that underpins Vita, and a Vitan minister. So welcome, Guy.
Thank you very much, yes.
Now, last we spoke to you in January of this year. So can you tell us how things are going with Vita Sapien?
Yeah, so January was after, obviously, December the year before, which is where I attended COP15 in Montreal, the Convention for Biological Diversity. That was a really important event for Vita Sapien because it helped to really sort of focus the structure, if you like, of the organisation. And so what we're really sort of focusing on now is this concept called Vita Worldview, which is the idea of in the way that Stoicism was the main worldview of the educated class in ancient Rome, we're trying to sort of create a version of that brings in all of the climate and ecological science, but also ecological spirituality. So there's two main themes to that at the moment, one of which is Lifewise philosophy, a sustainable life philosophy, and also Vita religion, which is a registered religious institution that has nature as its focus.
Now, you mentioned Stoicism, and I have some familiarity, some oblique familiarity with that, because I'm familiar with a philosopher by the name of Epictetus. Have you read him?
Not specifically Epictetus, but Stoicism was founded in ancient Greece, and it was a philosophy that sought to help people understand eudaimonia, which is how to live a good life personally and contribute to society. The point about it was that it was this undergirding philosophy that was a frame of reference for all decisions that were made thereafter. And it's our view that such a philosophy is missing in the world today, that what seems to be the basis of most people's decisions is an amalgam of mainstream religion and consumerism and capitalism and, you know, eternal growth on a finite planet. And those philosophies aren't sufficient for dealing with the climate and ecological crisis. So what Vita Sapien organization has been doing is thinking that through and then putting together these new ways of seeing the world, one of which is framed as a sustainable life philosophy, and the other is a registered religious institution that doesn't have a god but has nature instead.
Now, I remember last time we spoke, you had clarified that this Vita religion isn't meant to replace a spiritual practice that somebody may already be established in. It isn't meant to do that. Can you clarify that a little bit more?
Yeah, that's a really important point. We're not in the game of, so whilst we have a registered religious institution, we're not in the game of converting anybody. What we're doing is we're using that vehicle as a tool to help foster people to foster a spiritual relationship with the living planet. Because right now, if you come to these sorts of conferences and you listen to all the conversation about protecting the ecosystem, it's all very left brain, it's all very rational, it's all very science-based, and that's good. But what's missing is this deep reverence for life on Earth and this recognition that we're a part of the ecosystem that we are speaking about in these abstract terms. That's what Vita religion and Lifewise philosophy is trying to do. It's trying to connect people spiritually to the living planet.
Thank you for that. Can you sort of just remind us of, say, how Vita Sapien philosophy, if I may say that, differs from, say, the philosophy espoused by James Lovelock?
So Lovelock is Gaia hypothesis, Gaia theory is central to what we are doing. Many people would look at this work and say this is a Gaian philosophy, which it is. So we don't use the word Gaia to describe the living planet. We use the expression vitae planeta. I could go into reasons for that. It's on the website. But the subtle distinction really is that Gaia is a scientific theory that sees life on Earth behaving in the manner of a single organism. Vita religion, that requires a supernatural, sees life on Earth as a single organism, which places us human beings as cells within that greater body. And that's a pretty profound philosophical shift, because what it does is it means that the concept of environment is sort of foreign, that there is no a way to throw things to, because when you throw things away, you're throwing them into the greater body. And this is not a unique concept. It's just a new way of expressing this idea of oneness.
Very, very interesting. So would you say that this philosophy, when I look at the environment, I could say, I am that? Is it something similar to that?
Yeah, in the same way that indigenous people identify as a part of the forest, whereas Western people identify themselves as being apart from the forest. So we're trying to sort of inculcate a more indigenous view of nature in Western people. And simply because that seems to be a fundamental missing thing at the moment. And when you listen to the negotiations going on at these big events, you can be pretty sure that when you've got 1,000 bureaucrats up there arguing for their position, they're arguing on the basis of politics and economics and national identity and prestige, right? What we're trying to do is to try and create a philosophical platform that everyone can hold, that identifies themselves as part of the global ecosystem, and that informs all of their subsequent decisions.
Very, very nice. So you're here at Dubai. Can you tell us a little bit about your activities, what you're hoping to accomplish here?
Yeah, so three things. So firstly, we're trying to get Vita Sapien organization recognized as a delegate NGO organization. Got the paperwork underway for that yesterday. Second thing we're doing is I've got a press release here that's going out, and I'm doing a media event tomorrow at 2 p.m., which is the official launch of Vita religion at the COP. And the third thing is we're having lots of conversations and meeting people and networking, sharing the idea. And the fourth thing is we're trying to find funding, because at the moment this is a small operation. We believe that Vita Worldview can conceivably have a major play in shifting the trajectory of human civilization away from the abyss that we're heading to right now. But it needs to be a much bigger organization, and in order to scale quickly, we need the resourcing, and that's what we're seeking to do here as well.
Very good. Well, I'm happy to have gotten a chance to speak to you and get caught up on your activities. And of course, we here at the Climate Emergency Forum, of course, we embrace multiple solutions to reverse our predicament. And so I wish you well with your activity. And thank you for joining us here on the Climate Emergency Forum.
Thank you.